Hey folks, this is Rich. Hope you're having a great day. This is my 8th video on my book. I'm going through the book chapter by chapter. The first video I did was an overview of the book, and then I'm just going chapter by chapter, briefly what I discuss in each chapter of the book. So first of all, thanks for all the people that have read it. Thanks for all the people that have done reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. I know when I look on Amazon, I have 33 reviews, which is terrific. So keep them coming. As you read the book or finish the book, please put a couple sentence short and honest review on Amazon. I would appreciate it. And also on Goodreads. And it's neat to look on Goodreads. I can see that there are 19 people currently marked as reading it. And I believe 3 are marked as I'm reading it next. So a big thank you to all of you. And as you're making your way through the book, let me know what you think. Shoot me an email in Facebook or even on my contact page on my website. Let me know what you think, or even ask me any questions. So chapter 7 of my book, which has now been out about almost 2 months, Sitting with God, A Journey to Your True Self Through Centering Prayer, has been out almost 8 weeks now. Hard to believe. Today we're going to quickly take a look at chapter 7, I Am a Divine Being. And I think that can jar people or scare people for me to say something like that. And I'll clarify what I really mean by that is the image of God is within me. I am a little d. I am not God, and by any means, I do not think I'm God. I simply think I have divine DNA. The image of God is within me, and I can connect to this image within me. I can connect to this God within me as part of my centering prayer practice. So I did want to clarify that I do not think I'm God by any means at all, but I definitely think, God breathes into me, and the image of God is within me. So some of the points I talk about in this chapter are, who am I? Am I my thoughts? Am I my body? And I kind of say I'm both. I am both a human being and I am a divine being with a little d, not God, but the image of God within me. So I am little d, I am little Rich, and centering prayers is one way I connect with this. I talk that centering prayer is a journey within. And I talk that, our human actions, are the result of the divine spark within. And I best connect to my inner self during my centering prayer practice, where I'm letting go of all thoughts and emotions and opening to the presence and actions of God within. God is within each one of us, and I'm connecting to God within as part of my centering prayer practice. And then I'm getting up from my walk and taking the actions of the divine spark within. So again, I'm a divine and human, but again, divine with a little d, not a big D at all. And I also talk in this chapter about, the verse, be still and know I am God, and how that evolves and has changed for me. And its most recent meaning for me is, that I know that God walks with me throughout my everyday life. And it also means that God is nudging me and challenging me to take on new things and get out of my comfort zone. So that's a little bit about what I talk about in chapter 7, I am a divine being. And then as I have been doing, I thought I would share the questions at the end. There's questions for reflection and discussion, and I will answer them for myself. So the first question is, do you believe we are divine beings? Do you believe your body is the temple of God? Why or why not? I did touch on that. I do believe we are divine beings, but I qualified that with little d. We are not God by any means at all, but we have the divine spark within us. So our body is the temple of God, and we have a divine spark within us that I connect to as part of my centering prayer practice. Second question, how do you connect to the divine within? Kind of answered that already. I connect to it as part of my centering prayer practice, but you can do it at any point throughout the day by taking a silent pause, slowing down, and just reconnecting with that inner part of you. Question 3, does your time in solitude enrich your time in community? Why or why not? For me, it does, because it slows me down and it teaches me, centering prayer teaches me how to live. Centering prayer teaches me the actions I should take. I'm a better person in community because of my centering prayer practice. I listen more. I'm more present. I'm not as prone to react and say something I shouldn't say. I'm more prone to listen and be more open to what's being said and what I'm hearing. So it certainly enriches my time in community. Centering prayer is a wonderful practice for living everyday life. Fourth question is, what are some practices or activities that you can do to allow God to refresh your soul? Obviously centering prayer, but other ways that I do that are taking a walk, listening to music, looking at pictures, looking at art, or even just sitting and watching children or watching my children, are different ways that refresh my soul. Question 5, what does Psalm 46:10 mean to you? Be still and know that I'm God. I mentioned, I think in the beginning and I mentioned it in the book, be still and know that I'm God. I didn't know what to do with it. I thought, of course, you're God. Now what? Now what do you want me to do? So I kept playing with that verse and asking it what it meant to be. And at the present time, as I mentioned earlier, it means I know that God is with me, and I know that God walks with me, and I know that God nudges me and challenges me to move forward in life and do new things and get out of my comfort zone, because God will always be with me. So that's where I'm at with this verse. And then the last question, Jesus tells us we do not need to fear. Do you believe this? Why or why not? I do believe it, but sometimes it is hard to put into practice, and I have to remind myself that at all times. And I have to remind myself that no matter what I face, I'm not alone, and God is always with me, not just during my centering prayer sits, but when I get up and walk through life and do everyday life, and whatever that looks like, and whatever I need to do, God is with me. So that's a little bit about chapter 7, I Am a Divine Being. Again, thanks for all the people that have read the book, and thanks for all the people that are thinking of reading it. Take a look on my website, silenceteaches.com. There's a free sample of the book, so you could take a look at it and see if it's something that is of interest to you. And I see Susan Potter is on. Really helpful advice. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks, Susan, for popping on and listening to me go over chapter 7. I also put all these chapters on in YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and you can take a look at my YouTube channel and go back and take a look at previous chapters as well. So that's all for now. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day or night wherever you are, and much love to all of you. Take care, everybody.